This is why I think the spiritual definitions maybe are kind of better for us, because if you're trying to live your life to cultural definitions, they change often. So like masculinity was providing, women was like staying at home. Now you can see how like fucked up everyone's mind has been from the transition now where women are providing too. And so for men, it's like it's become like this weird thing where a lot of men, even in this call, feel quite purposeless because your cultural belief of masculinity has now been shattered. So for every guy here who's about 20 years old, you might have been getting ready to marry because if you had a full-time job at this age 100 years ago, you were almost ready. But we still have that belief that this is supposed to be the trait of men, and yet it's not anymore. You actually don't need to be like the provider anymore. So this is why I really love the intro chapters, like before the book actually started, The Way of the Superior Man, which it says, in a world where you are no longer judged on your ability to provide, where does a man's value come from? Because the cultural narrative keeps changing, and it's changing very quickly, and we're all being left behind because, it's very hard to know where the dating market's going to. So if you're trying to be the cultural masculine alpha male, you're just, if anything, you're kind of more feminine because it changes. We've all seen this in our own lifetime. Masculinity has changed a lot in the last 20 years, hasn't it? We've all seen this. So by trying to follow the cultural trend, you actually become more feminine because you're constantly changing who you are just because of what the modern world is telling you. This is why the spiritual definition is actually a lot stronger, which is just pure stillness, whatever your real consciousness is. You aren't the person who's following the movement. You aren't the follower. You're just the person who sits and observes everything. And it doesn't sound as cool to post about that on social media, but I think it'd be better for your mental health to consider, okay, like I am who I am behind the thoughts and the emotions that I have. So the next time that you get a thought, maybe within 10 seconds from now, almost imagine that you're looking at the thought like it's on a VR headset. You're not the thoughts, you're not the change, you're not the Instagram post or everything that's infiltrating your mind and your body. You're the soul behind all of it, including your own thoughts. So if we say that that's the definition of masculinity, is it unreasonable to think that women should have some of that? They should have, because they've got souls, they've got some of the sort of consciousness behind the thinker. Maybe they just have maybe less of a capacity or less skillful, able to tap into it. It does seem to me that most monks and most like religious masters do seem to be male, but I don't know if that's just like old sexuality maybe. Chris, are you still there?